So for a very long time, the Hyperion has been the best mage weapon in the game, and to be honest, probably the best weapon in the game in that case. In second place has pretty much always been the Midas staff, the golden spoon. But now, there is a better second place mage weapon to the Hyperion. Well, the kind of is, and the kind of isn't at the same time. In other words, the Midas staff can now reach new heights. It's been changed. It was changed quite a while ago now. I'm definitely aware of it, but it's time to do the Midas staff justice. We're going to purchase one of these new Midas staffs where you've paid over 500 million for them. Make sure to, actually check that it is one of the new Midas staffs and it actually, takes effects from those buffs. So we're going to find out if it's really worth paying 750 mil for one of these 500 mil Midas staffs, and we're going to see how much better it is than the previous, just regular 100 mil Midas staff. It should be a very interesting video. Well, first of all, I'm not really in a great financial state at the moment. I have just shy of 500 mil, which is not enough to buy one of these new Midas staffs. But luckily for me, skins and cosmetics in Skyblock have decided to shoot up in price, meaning that these wither goggles that I initially bought for about 50 mil a while back with this skin on are now worth over 1 billion coins. So I'm going to cash in now. They may rise more in the future, but don't worry, I've got a plan. Well, now I need a Midas staff, and I also need wither goggles. Well, I think the priority first should be to get one of these Midas staffs. And we're going to go ahead and purchase this one right here. It's fragged, it's gilded, it's fuming, it's got Art of War. It's what we need. Most importantly, there was 500 million coins paid on one of the new Midas staffs, and it's going to set us back around about 790 million coins. So it's not even a 750 million coin Midas staff. It might as well be an 800 mil. Now we still need wither goggles because, well, this is a mage weapon, and what else would we really test it out with? Well, honestly, the other wither goggle skin, the Cyberpunk, has also shot up in price, and I guess there's room for this to go up even more. So I think we may even just go ahead and buy one of these. Yeah, sure. That seems good. I guess this skin is kind of cool. I prefer the other ones, to be honest, but there was so many coins that I just couldn't not. Plus, this could always go up in price even more. Anyway, besides the point. This Midas staff. Well, what is so much better about this Midas staff than the old 100 mil Midas staff? Well, the ability greed. The ability damage bonus of this item is dependent on the price paid for it at the dark auction. The maximum bonus of this item being 26,000 if the bid was 100 million coins or higher. Now, the price paid for this was way over 100 million coins, but it doesn't matter because it's capped at 100 mil. And the base ability damage bonus there is 26,000. Whereas if we look at this Midas staff that I just purchased, it is the same stat. However, you can bid up to 500 million coins on this item, and there will still be a buff that takes effect. When you've paid over 500 mil for this Midas staff, then the base ability damage bonus is 34,000 as opposed to 26. Now you might be thinking, well, if I've paid 100 million coins, for instance, for this weapon, and it's given me a 26,000 base damage bonus, now I'm paying 5 times the price, but it's only giving me, well, a not very proportional increase in damage. You might be thinking, is it really worth it? And I definitely take your point. Well, we're going to see. Now, in theory, it should be the equivalent of around about a 30% damage increase if you have the exact same enchantments and modifiers on each weapon. Now, let's see how this weapon fares. Our damage is going to be around about 6.3 million. Now, on the face value, it does seem relatively impressive. But there's a little bit more we need to look into. We'll do that in just a moment. But before we do, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS. It gets yourself 5% off. You should subscribe to the channel. If you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so. You should join the Discord server. It's linked in the description of this video. We offer slays and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. Now here's the thing, okay? I'm using a G-Drag and I don't have 1 billion coins in the bank, so the damage is really irrelevant. All you really need to know is its base damage is 30% higher than the previous best Midas staff. And when we say the previous best Midas staff, what I'm talking about is a Midas staff where you could pay 100 million coins and get the maximum buffs possible, whereas this one you'll have to pay 500 million coins at the minimum from the dark auction. Now, that doesn't really mean an awful lot, considering the majority of people who are buying the Midas staff, realistically, are probably not going to buy it from auction. They're going to buy one off the AH. So the cheapest quote-unquote 100 million coin Midas staff is actually 382 million coins, almost 400 mil. And as you saw before, I paid around about 790 million coins for this one here. So the bottom line and the reality is that you'll probably be paying around about double the amount of coins that you'd pay for a 100 mil Midas staff as for a 500mm Midas staff. The prices might change, and I assume they probably will maybe slightly drop over time, but that's not all. The regular 100mm Midas staff is a really good weapon, and it deals a ton of one-hit damage. And this Midas staff that I'm holding right here deals even more one-hit damage. But the Midas staff still has a pretty significant flaw, and is the real reason why it just simply isn't as good as a Hyperion, and that's simply because it has a 1-second cooldown. Something that you're simply never going to be able to actually get around because it is simply the weapon. Now obviously with it having a ridiculously good one-hit damage, you're not going to struggle killing mobs, realistically. It's going to be good against mini-bosses. It's just the same as what I would say about a normal Midas staff. It's just a normal Midas staff, but a little bit on steroids, just 30% better. Now I know a lot of people use the Midas staff as a little bit more of a budget option as opposed to Hyperion to doing Enderman Slayer. Or maybe just because they simply find it more efficient and better because of the ridiculous one-hit damage. Now, an extra 30% damage is not going to hurt anyone, and sure, it's going to increase your boss times if you've got a regular Midas staff. There's not really anything else to be said there. The 500mm Midas staff doesn't have any flaws as opposed to the 100mm Midas staff. It is just simply better. And that's just using Aurora. I'm sure if you had like a mage geared Crimson set, you'd deal a ton of damage with the swipe. It will be pretty impressive. Now, by the looks of it, there is actually a way that you can now one-hit a tier 4 Enderman, and actually be a proper one-hit rather than, I guess, abusing a bug to one-hit. It involves Final Destination armor, Crimson armor, as I said before, with the goggles, it's Stone Sword, and then, of course, the Midas stuff. Although I can almost guarantee I would not be able to pull it off. It sounds like it requires a little bit too much brain power. Or just more like coordination with the keyboard and mouse. Okay, so there is a rumour that it is actually relatively decent for clearing in tier 3 Kuudra, so we're going to see if it is or not, basically. It's okay. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen to clear, but Hyperion is way more efficient, I've got to say. Like, the Midas stuff always seems to be a little bit glitchy when I use it. Like, it sometimes just kind of, even though it clearly is hitting something, just doesn't really hit it. Really strange. I mean, it deals a ton of damage. You can definitely clear, but to be honest, you can probably clear in tier 3 Kuudra with something like a Spirit Scepter at this point. It isn't really too difficult. But it definitely works. If you are literally just a dedicated crowd control, I think you could probably get away with using a Midas staff. You could probably get away with using a regular Midas staff too, a 100mm one. Didn't mean to get on the cannon. But yeah, I guess that really says it all. It doesn't fare too well against knockers, not going to lie. It really doesn't. I asked for thoughts on the 500mm Midas staff in my Discord server, and this is what people think. Okay, so the first thought was bad, and it isn't bad. There's a difference between bad and, I guess, value for money. It's not bad. Not worth the price. I guess for a lot of people, this may be the case. Sounds good, but in reality, not worth / overrated. Once again, I can probably see where you're coming from. Amazing for E-Man Slayer, apart from that, thumbs down. Maybe so. Not that good, decent option if you can't get more than one build net worth, niche uses, but that's all. Yeah, maybe true. I guess that's kind of similar to what people were saying about Enderman Slayer. Now, it's difficult to really pinpoint where this weapon actually stands, simply just because the regular 100mm Midas staff does a ridiculous amount of one-hit damage, does more damage one hit than the Hyperion by a massive margin, to a point where a weapon that just deals a little bit more one-hit damage but doesn't solve the fundamental issue of the Midas staff, and that's that there's a cooldown, for most people seems a little bit pointless. The fact that you'd be paying close to 800 million coins for this as well doesn't seem worth it. But if you can do 30% more damage to Enderman, and you do Enderman Slayer with the Midas staff, then maybe you can justify it. I think its actual practical uses, in terms of when it becomes worth it, are very niche. But for the most part, I question whether it's really worth it. But at the end of the day, that's my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.